Floyd Zadkovich, International Commercial Lawyers.
Hello, welcome to Floyd Zadkovich. This is our latest clip in a series of videos which we hope you find informative. Today I wanted to talk to you about counterparty risk. Always an important topic, but I think in recent markets it's worth coming back to this and giving it some thought, thinking through ways of mitigating counterparty risk and dealing with issues hopefully before they arise, but if they do, then also dealing with them on the back end after they have arisen. So just touching on the market for a moment, late last year, through the back half of 2018 really, there was some optimism coming back into freight markets, and a number of operators out there, a number of contacts we've got in the industry were expressing hope and optimism heading into 2019, and it looked like freight markets were on an upward trajectory. The usual dip around end of the year, December time, kicked in again, and unfortunately the dip was more pronounced than the market had been expecting, which has kind of followed into 2019, and the energy and the optimism that was there heading into this year hasn't really carried through. There's been some bounce back since that dip, but not quite as expected. So you've got a scenario where after many years now freight markets have been depressed, and some operators out there were perhaps hoping for a positive year in 2019, and there's still business to be done. But in terms of looking at the positions that they may have taken, there could be some operators who decided to go long and are now long on tonnage in 2019, and this can provide some risks really if you're now moving into a market which hasn't followed through as projected. And so it really brings into focus counterparty risk. It's very important to be sizing up your counterparties, whether it's owners if you're a charterer or charterers if you're an owner, and thinking through what their risk profile is. From an owner's perspective, if you have entered into charter parties with charterers where you may think there's potential issues there that could be exposed, it's super important to stay on top of regular payments. That goes without saying really in any market and for any efficient good operator, but I think it's particularly important when you think that there could be liquidity or counterparty risk in particular markets. And it's a market where it's we think at the moment important to be on top of that. We've had a number of cases where we've assisted clients where charters have defaulted, often on a final hire statement, not replenishing a vessel with bunkers or failing to pay the final hire payment on a time charter, and then getting into a scenario where you're looking around for assets. It's more of a recovery and enforcement situation, and really that's not where anyone wants to be. So staying on top of regular payments, using legal mechanisms within the commercial context, of course, but using legal mechanisms like withdrawing a vessel from use for a short period of time to get payments regularized, using lien rights if you have to. Lien rights have issues associated with them in terms of enforceability in certain parts of the world. We've dealt with that extensively, and there's a lot involved in that aspect which we can assist on. From a charterer's perspective, I think if you are doing business with owners where you think that owners may have taken a longer position, perhaps they've increased their chartered vessels or their owned vessels for that matter, but I'm thinking particularly having taken some longer time chartered business, and you're seeing a trend where a particular owner is moving into the market on more of a spot basis and perhaps trading with charterers of a higher risk profile, that could be suggestive of some difficulty in finding the type of business that owner may prefer to have, and it could be an early sign that liquidity or counterparty risk is increasing. So that's something to keep in mind if you're a charterer, and keep a close watch on liquidity from an owner's perspective. Look, the market is stagnant. This is not to suggest we're in a dire situation or anything like that. But it is a useful reminder when markets start to head on an upward trend, but then come back again against expectations. It can create risks, and it's always important to try and mitigate those where you can. So counterparty risk is an area which our firm focuses on. We work very closely with our clients and our contacts to mitigate this risk, to assess it at the outset, and if issues arise, if there is friction during the performance of a contract, then we get involved and help guide them through that process. Most issues can be sorted out with some pressure, payments can get regularized, but in instances where there is a liquidity issue and it comes to a head, then it always is better to move quickly and to move assertively and really secure your position as quickly as possible. If you'd like to get in touch with us and speak about any of these issues, you can through our website. It's www.floydzad.com. Our whole team are on there with our contact details, and we're also on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Try to put some regular content out there for our followers. It'd be great if you got involved and joined us. Have a great day, and thank you very much for listening.